Hi, BookTube, it's Amy. I am back with another reading from the private papers of the Bankrupt Bookseller by Will Y. Darling. Today we are on page 97 of my edition, and we're beginning with a section titled "The Lives of Great Men All Remind Us." Longfellow was great on that, with his "Lives of Great Men All Remind Us we can make our lives sublime and departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time." It has to be rattled off all in one piece. Footprints on the sands are ephemeral enough, but footprints on the sands of times is ephemerality to the uttermost degree. Yes, to live well, someone has written, one should consult the lives of other men as one would a looking glass, and from thence fetch examples for one's own imitation. The best biography is Boswell's Life of Johnson, and I hold perhaps a record for selling him in my small way. Certainly I have sold 100 in various editions, principally the Oxford one and the Everyman edition. If I had to go on a desert island with two books, I would take the Bible and Boswell. I have no doubt I would tire of Boswell first, because he deals with a sophisticated world. I would be hankering after the social life of London, and that would make me unhappy by its unattainability. The Bible is more consoling. Judea's social customs and social life at no time gave me nostalgia. There is no happy land in the Bible for which I would hanker. Still, I have not to make the choice. I can have it in this back shop of a bookshop, both the Bible and Boswell, and I am content. My other Johnsonian biographies are the Lives of the Poets. I have a 1794 edition in 4 volumes with the names of 40 booksellers on the title page. It is an excellent foursome, and I plead guilty to having been very capricious about this lot. I could sell the set at 10 sous and be paid handsomely, but when I had a buyer, I dissimulated and said that they were already sold, though they had not yet been removed by the buyer. It was a lie. They are not sold except to me, but I will not part with them. Even the most indifferent of biographies is more readable than most novels. I have a copy of Pioneers of Public Health, a book done by a woman as a labor of love, I guess, in bright memory of an only son. It tells something of men who have made the world more healthy and habitable, and is not pretentious in any way. Yet it is a book of merit, a likable book, and one which, for human interest, puts whole libraries of new novels into the shade of things unreal. Old biographies always attract me. What other bookseller has, for example, the following 3 books altogether on his shelves? George Whale, 1849 to 1925, edited by Edward Collard. Clement Shorter and Winifred Stevens Whale. John Mackintosh, a biography by George W. Crutchley. Henry VIII by Francis Hackett. I am the only one, and what an interest there is in these 3 books. They prove my case. Any book is a good book, and any book is worth the money, and the booksellers are benefactors. George Whale was a great rationalist and had, the phrase is, a genius for friendship. Apart from the editors, E.S.P. Haynes, Augustine Birrell, and H.G. Wells, all find something worth saying of him in this book. Whale was a good Johnsonian too, which counts the righteousness on earth anyway, and I am sure the great doctor will not allow, if words have any meaning, his supporters to be out of it hereafter. He died suddenly at an annual dinner of the Rationalist Press Association on May 4th, 1925, and the concluding part of his speech, a quotation from William Corey, was undelivered by him, but will be transcribed by me. He would have said, "Meanwhile, let us reply to the otherworldly. You promise heavens free from strife, pure truth, and perfect change of will, but sweet, sweet is this human life, so sweet I fain would breathe it still. Your chilly stars I can forgo, this warm, kind world is all I know." An optimist in spite of it all, you see. Life went well with him. The John Mackintosh book is toffee deluxe and a good story. Hodder and Stoughton are the publishers. My price is 4s60. The other companion of George Whale and John Mackintosh is Henry VIII, published by Jonathan Cape. But I am nearer the other two than the much-wived Henry. I only mention him because of the company he keeps in my shop, and to show how amusing a bookseller's life can be. Why write biography? The question is curiously answered by a Mr. Lather, who writes an introduction to Harriet Wilson's memoirs. Here is the quotation. It was no creative impulse that inspired the present book, that is, the memoirs, nor even a Casanova-like desire to live over again the scene of her former triumphs. It was a very understandable wish to extract money from the public by a chronique scandalous and from the Duke by blackmail. Note why books of memoirs are written anyway. 1. Sheer creative impulse. 2. A desire to live a successful life over again. 3. A wish to extract money from the public. And 4. Blackmail. My eyes light on 3 books of memoirs, and I apply Mr. Laver's test. The first is Sir Walter Scott's journal. There is nothing of the creative impulse there. He wrote, I think, he knew not why. There is no desire to live a successful life over again, nor yet to make money either by amusing the public or blackmailing his friends. Stand down, Sir Walter, you are not guilty. My second witness takes the stand. The son of a tailor and fond of clothes, women, and all good things. Mr. Samuel Pepys gives his evidence. Creative impulse? A little puzzled, a slight hesitancy, and the secretary of their lordship of the Admiralty replies, I hardly know why, but I would not claim that. A desire to live a successful life over again? I had a certain gusto in life, I grant you, but the enjoyment I had cannot be lived over again in writing. The waters pass only once under London Bridge. No, sir, he concludes with emphasis. A wish to extract money from the public? Certainly not. If that were my intention, would I have written in cipher? The fourth question need not be put. For a man who wrote in cipher, there can be no suspicion of blackmailing, and Mr. Samuel Pepys passes down into the merciful gloom behind the dock, having successfully denied all 4 imputations. His character, as far as Mr. James Laver's charges are concerned, is unstained. The ushers call Edward Gibbon. He asks all that the charges be read out to him. He hears the indictment with grave, almost pompous dignity, for the greatest historian of any age is not accustomed to cross-examination. I have no hesitation whatever in asserting that my autobiography was neither inspired by creative impulse, nor by a desire to live my life over again, nor by the wish to add to my fortune, nor yet, it is almost unnecessary to add, surely by anything resembling in the slightest degree the vile wickedness of blackmail. If before this court I am to inform the world why I wrote my autobiography, I must admit in words I have used in that work, writing my history, I was seduced by the faculty of my pen. Edward Gibbon takes his leave of the court, and I, as one of the jury, feel that Mr. James Laver has failed to make his case. We writers and scribblers alike are seduced by the faculty of our pens. And the next section is titled Book Titles and Possible Publishers. The Psalms in Human Life, I see, has gone through 4 editions and been reprinted twice as often. It is a book which I have never read through, but it always interests me. When I procure a copy, as I did this week, of the 6-shilling edition, I always hold it over for a night or so just to look over it again. The idea is a good one. It would be most entertaining if it could be followed farther. For example, Shakespeare and his effect on the individual being a record of lives enriched and actions inspired by the works of William Shakespeare. That might be one book. Another might be Mrs. Beeton's cookery book and lives planned and damned by her influence. Why not the 10 Commandments and historical incidents dealing with their rejection? What would be an omnibus book? I must seriously interview a publisher. Who would it be? I think John Murray, or would it be too staid? What about Chatto and Windus? The partnership interests me, and I would see either with equanimity. Did they not publish The Young Visitors? Faber and Smith. Faber and Smith, Elder and Company, Sampson, Lowe and Company, Duckworth and Company, all seem forbidding. Ben Brothers seems friendly, and Jonathan Cape does not appall me, but Victor Gonzalez, he and Alfred A. Knopp I could not approach. Publishers' names are odd, I think, but perhaps it is their bills that really make me feel ill at ease. I had better give up the idea. And the next section is titled More About Biographies, but that's rather long, so we will end this video for today. In the next reading, I will be back with the section titled More About Biographies, and probably religious books and Bibles as well.